a sec.
Alright guys, let's go over the build. First, let me explain to you guys why using EarthShatter. So as you can see right here, my DPS is 41,000. Right? You could consider it pretty low. So if I remove it, support gem right here, upheaval, my DPS will be 85,000. And if I put this one in primal armament, my DPS would be 106,000. And if I switch to my dual wielding, my DPS is 121,000, but you should multiply it by 2 if two of your weapons are similar. But puts it upheaval support gem back, my DPS only 46,000, but I can pull off very high DPS with its support gems. The reason is 46,000 is per spike. So as you can see right here, I'm hitting with 3 spike. Every time I hit, 3 spike appear. If I remove this support gem, there's only 1 spike. So 97,000 per 1 spike. Or if you can hit the same target with 3 spike at once, it could be 46,000 times 3. So if you get close to some of the boss and then you just slam it, the boss will take 46,000 times 3 damage. So that is about 120k right, per second, which is pretty good. But most of the DPS will come from the explosion actually, and the explosion damage is not showing up in the tooltip here. You can see right here, this one is with my lightning conflux activate. Sometimes you get lucky if you got the lightning conflux, or if you can time it. Right, so as you can see in I think one of my video, I was waiting for the lightning conflux to kick in, right, to proc before I engage the boss, so that my DPS would be higher. But without the lightning conflux, the average damage per use is about 92,000, which I would say pretty high. And 92,000 is per spike, right? So 3 spike would be 92,000 times 3, and you could drop I think 9 of these before the boss appear, and then when the boss start to like engage into the fight, you will use Semisis Cry and then you just explode them, and that would deal a big chunk of damage to the boss. That is for smaller boss. Right? For Pinnacle, you definitely want to wait for the lightning conflux to happen before you drop down the spy here. That will boost your DPS by a lot more. So that is the reason why. So compared to Earthquake, which I use on my Titan, this one gauge you probably double or triple the DPS compared to the previous build that I used on Earthquake. So that is the reason why I switched it over. It just gave me more DPS when it comes to fighting bosses. And I am currently using Gemling Legionnaire, right? So with Gemling Legionnaire, you get more mana, which is more. You will be more, a little bit more forgiving when it comes to play, I guess. I think a lot of people have to agree that Gemling Legionnaire is pretty OP. Right? Probably one of the most play class, probably, right? It just provides so much utility. It can do so much things that other class, and it can do so much thing other class can do. I mean, it can do what other class can do, and it can do better. I think, right? That's what I meant, right? just because its ability to just have a very high either HP pool, life pool, or mana pool, make it a lot easier to play. And with the special ability to use two of the same support gems here, it will bring your DPS even higher, because you can throw in two of the same gems, support gem for some of your skill you use most frequently. For example, when I'm fighting boss, I do use Shockwave Totem as well. And if with the Lightning Conflux, I can have 182k DPS per totem, so 3 totem. Drop 3 totem down, I'll get that 500,000 DPS just to having the totem down, and then I can come in closer to the boss and just smashing the boss here with EarthShatter. So my DPS probably somewhere around, I would say 1 million, right? Even though in here it doesn't say that I have a 1 million DPS, but in an actual fight with the boss, with my current setup, I am about 1 million DPS when it comes to fighting, which is pretty solid. I mean, like, it's not as OP as some of the other class where you can get like one shot to the boss or whatever, but you have a high enough DPS to have some decent fight, right? So let's talk about the gear. So first one, let's talk about the first set of weapon. I'm using Frost Breath Slim Mace on my first set of weapon here. It has nice critical chance. You can look for one with nice critical chance, a little bit more critical chance if you have, but for me, I'm opting for that double socket so that I can add more elemental damage with attack. I think you could add in critical damage as well, because if you do like a critical build, critical damage bonus also help. So that could be one. So why using Frostbreath Slim Mace? Because it has that special ability that all damage from hit with this weapon contribute to freeze buildup, and freeze buildup can help trigger Hero of Ice, right? So why using Hero of Ice, right? As of right now, Hero of Ice can help clear map very quickly if you can trigger it very frequently. Very nice AoE explosion radius. If you have very high damage, right? To kill if it shatter a mob, like a big explosion happen, as you can see in my mapping video footage. Very nice. Help clear so much faster. Hero of Thunder still work with this weapon, even though all damage from hit with this weapon contribute to freeze buildup, but it doesn't take away the ability of you shocking the enemy. So you can shock enemy and you can freeze enemy at the same time with this weapon, which is a double bonus. You can run dual hero on mapping. But when it comes to fighting the boss, you want to switch to dual wielding, and when switching, I'm not using hero anymore, because hero doesn't work on boss because you can't kill it. So when it comes to fighting boss, I'm using Elemental Conflux and Berserk only. So these two support skill will take about 130 spirit. If you cannot manage to get like an extra spirit on your amulet, you can just run Elemental Conflux, or you can just run Berserk with Wind Dancer, up to you guys. But for me, Elemental Conflux help a lot when it comes to like a bigger fight, right? A Pinnacle Boss, you time it, right? So right now, as you can see right here, right, it will tell you, okay, the Lightning Conflux is coming. No, yeah, oh no, this one is telling me that the Ice Conflux is coming. Usually it will tell you around like 3-4 seconds. So now it's telling me that, oh, the fire conflict is coming. So which it doesn't have for what I have, because we are lightning based damage. So like before engage into the boss, you want to see it, right? Oh, now okay, lightning conflict coming, and you come in, you trigger the boss, and now you got that 12 seconds of like lightning conflict. You have very high DPS on all of your skill. You drop your totem, and then you come and you smash the boss, right? Zed alone would probably take about 15 million to 20 million damage life from the boss. And if you can manage to use Semis Cry and Infernal Cry on the boss, and then you can drop a hammer, that would be another probably 4 million to 10 million damage, depend on if you can trigger the aftershock or not. Okay. So that would probably give you a very high initial big damage that can take away a big chunk of the boss HP, and after that you have about 1 million damage per second with 3 totem running at the same time, and you can engage fighting the boss close range with EarthShatter here. You drop 6 or 9 of the EarthShatter, you explode them at the same time with the totem hitting, and you have that 1 million DPS on your mace skill. Other equipment, you want to use Hand of Wisdom. On the weapon, you want to focus on elemental damage with attack and a +5 level of all melee skills. Those are the 2 most important one you want to look for. Right? You can have more strength, you can have more critical chance, more attack speed. But the 2 main thing, right, you want to have are those 2. Obviously, if you want to have critical chance on the weapon, you want to have attack speed on the weapon, they will help tremendously to bring your DPS of your EarthShatter up a lot more. But it also comes with a heavy price tag for the single-handed mace. As of right now, I just can't afford them. Right? I've been trying to run too many builds. I just trying too many different items, and now I don't have the divine orbs to pay for the big for the better upgrade weapon. But if you could afford them, you can buy them, and you can even have higher DPS. So my equipment are not like ultimates set of equipment. It's just some things that I have and I can use and I can beat all the content with them, and I'm happy with it. Right, I'm not trying to push for like some like super expensive item. Right, for example, you can go for like a better Hand of Wisdom with like 4% attack increase and 1 to 12 lightning damage attack. I think they'll go for, I don't know, 120 div or maybe even more. You can get a better ingenuity bell as well. Those things will bring your DPS up even higher that if you could afford them. But my items are somewhat, right now I would say, average for a lot of players. Right? I wouldn't say my equipment are crazy good, but decent, right? Decent and can beat most all of the content. For the helmet, I want you guys to focus on the area of effect. I have a lot of helmets that I used before, but I think having that actual area of effect on the helmet is very good, because it helps with the range for your. It helps make your Simic Cry AoE bigger, right? So you can reach some of the. If you hit your EarthShatter a little bit further away, you can break them. Right, that's the whole point. Sometimes they can travel far. So let's say if it's here, you won't be able to reach it. So if you can manage to get your war cry a little bit bigger, it would be a lot better as well. But it's not needed, right? It's nice to have. It's nice to have. The helmet, you want to focus to get on some of the attribute that you need. So for me, I'm getting intelligence, strength, or intelligent dex. You can get critical chance on the helmet as well. You can get increased rarity item if you want to farm some of the item. Up to you guys, right? I think helmets have a lot of option, and they not super expensive. Right? For my own fighting, right? When I'm looking for a helmet, they are probably the cheapest one to look for. If you want to get like a nice boots with like 35% movement speed with all of the attributes that I have right now, it's gonna be very expensive. So not like super high end equipment. Like if you have something better, you could definitely try. So for this build, I think if you have that unique stellar, I can't remember. I can't remember the exact name for that one. The one that gives the attribute. You could have a lot more strength, and you might able to dual wield two-handed mace with +7. I think your DPS will go up a lot higher as well if you could afford that. But then your attack speed will be slower. So that keep in mind. But your totem, your shockwave totem damage will definitely gonna be a lot higher if you could manage to get like +7 melee weapon on both of them and high elemental damage attack on the two-handed weapon. So that is something, if you could afford that unique amulet, you can try, but I'm not gonna try it since we almost at the end of the season. So that is something you can try to get higher damage. So for me, for the mapping set, I prefer using a shield now, because the shield gave me that shield charge. Shield charge is very nice for like mapping. You can move faster, you can go around. People might ask, oh, why don't you use blink? Right? Because I'm using in elemental conflux on my second setup weapon already, so I cannot put in a blink. Right? And if I want to use blink, I will have to switch it in and out. It's just too much work for me. I'm just using shield charge to move around. Is that good enough for me already? I'll run around using shield charge, right? And shield charge can also deal pretty nice amount of damage as well. And it's a nice skill, a nice mobility skill. So you want to have momentum, close combat, second wind, ingenuity, inevitable critical is optional. This is not your main DPS skill, right? Shockwave Totem. So this one is used mostly when you fighting big boss, right? If you wanna be safe, you wanna Totem down. Or if you in like a very tight spot, right? Sometimes you do ritual, right? You know, sometimes they spawn in this very fucking narrow area, and if there is like a tornado running through, that is the worst thing can happen with ritual. Like in my opinion, like I would die a couple times. So with the Shockwave Totem, you can throw 3 of these things down. You interact with the ritual. You can start it, and the totem will just kill everything for you, and you don't have to worry about that getting killed, right? So it's safer. I would say it's a lot safer to have that Shockwave Totem to help you do clear some of the content, right? Some of the content, you know, that you gotta die. You know, sometimes when I see the ritual altar, and I'm like, oh shit, man, this shit gonna kill me, but I still go in. But now with the Shockwave Totem, I'm like, okay, this shit will kill me if I don't throw down my Shockwave Totem, right? So that is what I know. So I throw down the Shockwave Totem, and then I change my weapon, and then I trigger the ritual altar. Now I have that 12 seconds of my totem helping me clear the mob, and then I can just smashing everything. Help bring up your survivability a lot more on mapping on some of the harder content. EarthShatter, using rage to get you that additional rage. Since we have a berserker running, we also the rage also bring your DPS up quite a lot, right? Can probably bring up your DPS up to like, I think, double your DPS up here. So that is one thing that is also very nice with close combat as well. If you have a very nice amount of rage build up, you can dish out a very high amount of damage. And rage also affecting Shockwave Totem as well, right? Just in case you didn't know, if you have a 30 rage and then you drop your Shockwave Totem, if you have 30 rage and you have elemental lightning conflux, all at the same time, you drop your Shockwave Totem down, if your Shockwave Totem will deal probably around 300k damage per second. Let's talk about that. So very high DPS right there from just using Shockwave Totem. You want to have a concentrate effect, just get your earthquake a little bit higher DPS here. Martial Temple, lightning infusion, and you want to have a up herbal for that 3 spike. Nice AoE when it comes to map clearing as well. Shockwave Totem, you want to have astral projections. This one will help you. You can cast your Shockwave Totem anywhere surround you, and it will still hit any enemy near you, right? So you don't have to cast the Shockwave Totem exactly where the mob or where the boss are. You can just cast them a little bit safer, a little bit behind you or on the side of you. Concentrate effect, gain more damage for the Shockwave Totem. Since we using astral projection, we don't care about the AoE because it can just hit the target without being even close. So we don't care too much about how big our AoE can be for this build. Martial Temple, very nice boost for the DPS for the Shockwave Totem. Lightning Infusion, elemental focus, right? So because, as I mentioned, right, Gemling Legionnaire having that ability to use two of the same support gems that makes it build work so much better. I'm not gonna lie, like having choose skill uptime, like Shockwave Totem uptime is about 90% of the time, and you have a EarthShatter you can use most of the time as well. Like both of these skill, the only moment you had to recast the Shockwave Totem is that when you drop some of the DPS. But other than that, when you Shockwave Totem up, and then you keep smashing the boss, right, you can dish out so much DPS right there. And Hammer of the God can also deal a very nice amount of damage as well. Earthquake in this build is just there, right, nice to have. Sometimes you can use it, but it's more like an utility. You can use it to slow some of the enemy in some tough situation. You might able to use it. You can put in like meme on hit, debuff, inflict, support, have 15% increase, low magnitude. Because Earthquake create Jack Growl, Jack Growl also slow down the enemy. You also want to use that expanse so that your Earthquake a little bit bigger. Oh shoot, error, right? Would be nice to have if you can put the actual AoE on the Earthquake. But right now the AoE I'm using on Seismic Scry, right, to make that Seismic Scry a little bit bigger. And I'm also using the AoE on Hero of Ice. I'll explain a little bit later down when I go to that skill. Hammer of the God, Tremor, Aftershock, Primal Armament, Elemental Focus, and Fist of War. War Cry, Break Endurance, Magnify Effect, Raging Cry, Premeditation. Infernal Cry, right, Semi-6 Cry is used to explode or the spike because it has no cooldown unless you stun an enemy. So you can actually spam this one to help you just explode, like blow up all your EarthShatter here. We cannot use Infernal Cry for this purpose because Infernal Cry comes with a cooldown. We use Infernal Cry for bossing. Right? When bossing, you can use both of you can throw out the EarthShatter using Seismic Cry on the boss, explode the spy, and then you use Infernal Cry. Now you have a 2 boost on your next attack. Right? I think that is very nice. Right? On your Hammer of the God, most likely. So for mapping, right, we running dual hero, like Hero of Thunder, Hero of Ice. Hero of Thunder because our main source of damage are lightning damage. A lot from the Hand of Wisdom. Some coming from the ring as well. Lightning damage from multiple attack coming from the ring. So you always able to shock a lot of enemies. So Hero of Thunder can trigger very frequently. But which help clear the map faster is definitely Hero of Ice. You want to increase the damage for this one as high as possible. You also want to increase the AoE so that it explode when it explodes the enemy. The nearby also gets the damage so that it creates that chain reaction. If your AoE, your radius is bigger, it will help you clear like a much bigger like group of monster. So I have a primal armament, cold mastery, magnify effect, ice bite. Hero of Thunder I have innovate, lighting mastery, super critical, electrocute. Electrocute is nice, right? You can electrocute some of the enemy on the map, right? If they if they don't die. It's like a CC form of CC. Inevitable critical, right? You can throw some of the ones that doesn't give very actually it's not because it didn't give very nice DPS, because Hero of Thunder have a higher base critical hit chance, so I'm putting a lot more critical support gem on Hero of Thunder, right? That is the reason. So this one had critical hit chance of 29-30% compared to my EarthShatter. I think only about 26, little lower. I thought it was higher. Anyway, Hero of Ice, we already talked about it. Wind Dancer, very nice. It's nice to have. And because of the way we run full intelligence on this one, Wind Dancer can also deal very nice amount of damage. 14 on average per use, 12,000 damage, which can kill pretty much most of the monster if they hit you. So another form of like defense for your character. Berserk is there to utilize on the rage that we build up, makes the effect of rage even stronger, right? So our DPS even higher. That is one of the reasons why I was able to kill some of the boss very quickly. Elemental Conflux is only used when we on the bossing weapon set, right? So when I switch to dual wielding, that is when Elemental Conflux get activate. Berserk still activate because it's work on boss, but Hero of Thunder, Hero of Ice stop working. Wind Dancer, right? We have to let's go one, right? Either Wind Dancer or Berserk, but Berserk will definitely help you kill the boss faster. And when it comes down to like fighting Pinnacle Boss, the faster you kill them, the better, right? The longer the fight, the more work you have to put, you know. So that are the support. That are some of the skills that I use. Here comes the skill tree. So you want to get some of the lightning damage penetration. You want to have at least about 60% penetration of on lightning damage. Main hand lightning resistant penetration is 70% for me. 70% is nice, or 80%, right? Depend. You can get some of the lightning penetration from the green emerald jewel. So you want to get like critical chance, critical damage, mana regen, arrow effect, elemental damage on the blue one. Attack speed, elemental damage, lightning damage, or lightning penetration on the green one. Here comes the skill tree, right? You can run from here over here, getting as many intelligence as possible. You want that lightning damage with one critical hit is lucky. Lightning penetration. On weapon set 1, which is the one that I use from mapping, I'm adding more critical chance. Here. More critical chance is better for weapon set 1 because you just need one of the hit. When it's with the weapon set 1 here, you just need one of the to crit so that you can kill one of the mob. When you kill one of the mob, it will trigger Hero of Ice, and Hero of Ice will just explode the next one, and everything will die, right? So having that critical chance, high enough critical chance, also very nice for mapping. Because you just need to get one. You need to kill one. From what I see is that each time you hit a monster, it will have a different set of critical chance. I think I could be wrong. Okay, don't quote me on this one. It's just how I test it, and it's better to have a higher critical chance so that you can at least kill one of them, and then everything just die. Everything just explode. On mapping. So you run from here over here. You wanna run to this side over here so that you can grab that might over matter because you stacking on in. You want the damage to go to your mana before your life. On weapon set 1, I was able to get a little bit more elemental damage here as well. Going up here, you want to get more lightning damage. Damage penetrate. Lightning penetration. You want to have a maximum mana. Right? I feel very nice one to have here. More intelligent. Weapon set 1, I'm traveling a little bit down here as well to get more critical chance. 50% critical chance is nice to have. It bring up your critical chance by quite a lot. On weapon set bossing on bossing equipment set, that is when you want to try to get just enough so that you can have that extra totem, right? And the rest you don't want to focus on like increasing some of the node here for just the totem only, because adding point here will not help with your EarthShatter, right? So for this build, you want to utilize Shockwave Totem and EarthShatter at the same time, right? So you want to get something that can work for both, right? So lightning damage increase, regular attack increase, attack speed, whatever can help with like both, right? So you just need to have enough to have a more attack, more totem placement speed here. 3 go over here for that extra summon totem, and you wanna go a little bit down here for another extra totem down here for weapon set, for bossing weapon set. So you can total 3 totem and still able to smash the boss with very high amount of DPS here, right? Choose skill to smash the boss at once, right? So yeah, and some of the unique jewel. This one I'm using allocate insightfulness here, so that can get more intelligent, more DPS here, more mana regen. Wide barrier increase the block chance. So because I'm using a shield on my weapons, on my mapping weapon set, 50% block chance, and I get this one right here. So it gave me a pretty decent amount of block chance for mapping, which is nice to have. Another unique jewel. I'm using a prism of belief diamond, +3 level to all EarthShatter skill. So as I mentioned, right, you use EarthShatter for mapping, you use EarthShatter for bossing, so you want a nice boost to your DPS, and it definitely very nice to have that +3. So another thing I can do to boost up my DPS is to vow the skill jam here to get it to level 21. But I mean, I'm afraid of doing it, because I do not have a lot of divine to buy a replacement. But if I get some additional fund, I might try them, right? So that is something I can do if I want to bring my DPS even higher. Get the Shockwave Totem, the EarthShatter skill to +1 level. Getting that unique stellar so that I have more strength, so that I can using two-handed weapon, dual two-handed weapon, that will bring my DPS for Shockwave Totem up very high. EarthShatter, I'm not 100% sure because it will slow down on your attack speed, but Shockwave Totem will definitely get much higher DPS if you could dual wield two-handed weapon. Right, so that are some of the things you can do, right, if you have time. Right now, I think I have just done with the game, just waiting for the reset, I think, and we'll see how well we can do in the next season. But for this season, I'm pretty happy with what I've accomplished so far. For someone like me who play the game for the first time, right, there was a lot of things I need to learn, but I was able to accomplish most of the thing I wanted to do in the game. So yeah, if you guys have any other comment, any question, feel free to ask me in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video, guys.